Thundercats Roar! Roar! No Tigra!
Hey, Warner. I know you guys are in a budget crunch, but damn! Well, you know, we have been talking about animation a lot on this channel, and that's what we're going to continue to do a lot on this channel, on this show specifically. But I'm going to tell you, one thing that I don't like is the cal art. You know, does it belong in this business and stuff like that? Yes and no. In certain ways. It's an artwork, yes, and all that. But I think it is a cheap artwork. It's no matter what you would say to the situation. If you have a different opinion, I can understand that. But unfortunately, companies have decided to, because they're in budget constraints and they want to sit there and say, hey, listen, this is what the people want, and stuff like that. But time after time, it's been proven that basically it doesn't work for everything. It doesn't sit there to work for every type of animated series. You can't sit here and say, hey, you know, let's do this way and it will work. You know, perfect example is that Thundercats Roar. You know, they said, oh, well, we want to do it this way because, you know, it's on there. But yet, you're taking a Saturday morning cartoon in the 80s to 90s, and you're trying to renew it, make it better, but you dumb down the animation. That's not what they expect it to be. So, well, we want new people to... Still, think of the time. Think who was watching then, who are now adults, who want to bring it to their children or their grandkids, but yet you put this kind of artwork out. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. And, you know, you want to be cheap about it, that's fine. But, you know, that's your money. This week we find out that basically that HBO Max was doing a Aquaman animated series that was supposed to cross into the movie sphere. So it's sort of a bridge between movies, and you know, when we heard the announcement, we kind of expected a lot from it. We kind of find something maybe toward Young Justice type of animation, maybe, or Green Lantern animated series, or you know, or maybe something toward like a Harley Quinn type of animation type. But what we got in the first promotional features, and I hope this is just a joke or to the nature, but this came off of the Twitter What's on HBO Max, is this type of cal art. This is just this is supposed to be your bridge between movies. You gotta be freaking kidding me. This is just, I mean, the eyebrows alone are just a joke. Hey, listen, you know, if you want to draw Amber Heard that way, you know, how many people hate Amber Heard at this point with the way she's treating Johnny Depp, that's a different story. But you look at the situation and it's unfreaking believable. The thought processes in Hollywood is just psychotic. This is why Hollywood is dead. This is why, you know, you can't get a good programming out. And the programming that are good out there are being destroyed one by one by one. Whether it's Star Wars, Doctor Who, The Expanse, you know, WandaVision, The Mandalorian, many different programming are just like taken apart so they could just fulfill either their budget or basically a political agenda.
Say, nice hobby that you have. It's a little bit sexist, don't you think? Maybe you better let us in to fix it.
Or ideology, which is not the ideology of the fans. Now, understand, what's on HBO Max is not an affiliate of HBO Max. But like I said, if this is true, I mean, this is being produced by James Wan, who directed the Aquaman movie, Fast and the Furious 7, The Conjuring, Saw, the Tommy Knockers, produced on Mortal Kombat, MacGyver, Swamp Thing, the TV series. I mean, the guy has a long stretch of works. A lot of it popular in the fandom, whether it's in the horror or the general action series and stuff like that. I mean, he has a long. I mean, one of his best stuff was Dead Silence. I loved Dead Silence. That was such a great movie. If you have not seen that movie, it's a great horror. It is a really good horror with a great twist ending. Do catch it. I mean, it's there's so much you could say about that, and I don't want to say anything about it because it'll give a lot away. But a puppet movie. There've been so many puppet movies throughout the years, and to get something to this nature is just, I applaud, and it's pure excellence. But you go back to this, you have someone of this nature, and like I said, this is why Hollywood has failed. This is why they have failed us, and because basically the top people up top are no longer top anymore. They're not being creative. Now, whether it's their fault or it's the company's fault, in most cases it's the studio's fault. Because basically they're sitting there and says, this is what the people want. No, you haven't talked to us.
Left-wing activists came in and decided to take over this industry, spit in your faces, and destroy what you loved.
Trust me, you're talking to the freaking minute people on Twitter that are telling you what to do. They should not be consulted on this. Find real fans out there. You can do it. You've put money to situations where you've sat in the malls and stuff like that and talked to people about movies, showed them clips and stuff like that. You've done those research. I don't even think you do that anymore. You just sit there on Twitter all day. You hire social media people to see what people want, but you're not listening to them. You're not listening to the YouTubers. You criticize the YouTubers for freaking criticizing your programming, your movies. Maybe you should listen to them. There are a lot of guys in the industry that have been freaking, shunned, blacklisted, that sit and talk with a lot of these YouTubers. I've talked to a couple people in this industry. Some of them don't want to come forward because basically that they don't want to get blacklisted. But I'll tell you this. There is a major problem in the industry. A new independent industry is starting to form. It's starting to grow. And this is where we headed for. There are guys online. I'll give you an example. Kings of Horror. They're continuing to still put out movies constantly. They're a great site for horror films, or little low-budget horror films. This is the stuff we're looking for. Not every film on Kings of Horror are great, but it's still there. There's another site called Dust that show low-budget horror, science fiction. They do low-budget films. Quick stuff, in and out. Low-budget, sometimes no budget. You have to remember one thing. We are in a technical, point where films can be made not with $100, $200 billion freaking budget. They could be done for next to nothing. I've talked about movies like The Wretch. $66,000 to make that film. $66,000. and they grossed a couple $1 million. You may say that, well, that's not a lot, but from a $66,000 budget, I say let's give them to the higher end, $4 million, and you put $66,000 into the movie. What makes out? Do your math on that. Another, and he's fallen into the hole too. Kevin Smith, Clerks, no budget, but still made money, made a sequel, and possibly going to make a third, which, I have my doubts on how the third's going to be on that, because the way he himself has fallen, which it shocks me. You know why it shocks me? Go find, if you could find a copy of the DVD Clerks animated series, and I've talked about this before. There's ones where they talk during the episode, and they discuss the issues they had with ABC.
In the elevator after we had done the table read for this, and like you said, at the end it becomes apparent that Jay and Bob were enjoying the cartoon the whole time, and I'm in the elevator, there's sort of 4 or 5 of us in there. One of the network accountants says...
Was he the accountant?
No, he's a lawyer. He's a business guy.
Thin mustached lawyer. Go on.
But we're in there, and he very sarcastically says to whoever he's with, "Oh, I get it. Jay and Silent Bob were drawing the cartoon. Ha, ha, ha."
And at that point, we requested,
And let me tell you, they slammed the hell out of ABC. It is funny as freaking hell. And it shocks me when you see someone like him, and now he's talking the way he's talking now. It's a shame. It's a shame. I respected Kevin Smith. I don't now. I really don't. A lot of directors. There's not many directors left in Hollywood. There's maybe 2 or 3 possibly that might have some, respect values that, that may be able to still rescue a small percentage of the movies or TV series. I mean, if they're putting shit out like The Equalizer and Batwoman, and you see all these things and they're not rating well. And you say, "Oh, what's wrong with The Equalizer?" Hey, I love Queen Latifah. But they threw her in a TV show that the primary basis is that the main character she's supposed to play is a former Cold War agent turned to basically semi-vigilante who goes around helping people. The way they have it here, it's like it's insane. They don't understand. You can't really remake it. This is why Wise Guy failed in its last season. If you ever saw the TV series Wise Guy, great show about an undercover guy in the mob, and the reason it was called Wise Guy, it was because the guy had to be Italian. Season 5, there were issues with the main character, Ken Wall, and what happened was they sort of killed him off in a way, not to give spoilers or anything to that nature, and they brought in Stephen Bauer and gave it more of a Latin, upbeat Miami type of Vice type of look, but it didn't work. The story was okay. It was okay to the situation if Ken Wall was part of it. But even though Ken Wall was the backstory of this, Stephen Bauer came to be the forefront to being the wise guy, and that was totally wrong. It's the same way what happened with the last season of Sliders, where basically the two brothers, the main character, wiped out, brought in another guy in, and that just totally, storyline just went into another direction, and just basically series got canceled. This happens constantly, and this is going to happen with The Expanse. You have Alex, the character on The Expanse, the pilot.
Spoilers.
You know, in The Expanse, they killed off Alex with a stroke because of what happened to him, which basically, you know, accusations, and because there were accusations, they decided to write him off. They said, let's not be bothered with it. Let's go on. And the thing about it is, it hasn't gone to a court. It hasn't gone to any arbitration or anything, or any allegations that have been posted by the police department. It's just people saying, this is on there. I don't know the guy. I plainly don't know the guy. He could be guilty as fucking hell, and then, yeah, he deserves to be burned. But if he's not, you've just fired somebody on the basis of what somebody else said. Think about the Amber Heard situation. Think about what Johnny Depp was going through.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
But these are the situations that we all go through. And getting back to the Aquaman, this is why DC is in ruins. Because of this. DC Comics is practically done. There's a story out there. There are people trying to put their money, fans, trying to put their money together to buy DC Comics. Is it true? I couldn't say. But if it is true, and if the fans buy it and they do a better job, then what? That's going to blow right into Warner. We are finding out, and I have another video coming up with the Gina Carano story. We're finding out the way Hollywood is acting. If you don't agree in the position that they want, you are blacklisted. You are gone. They're making their policies the way they want, the programming the way they want it, not the way the fans want it. This is why you're losing money. This is why you sit there and you criticize people and then meanwhile there are others, you tell them, well, if you don't like it, go make your own. And when they go make their own and they're making money, you criticize them and try to get them shut down. That is the funniest thing ever. You tell them, go make your own, and they made their own. And they're successful. And then you have stuff from abroad, from Japan specifically, that you're trying to get shut down too. You're making criticisms online saying, well, this is just basically, it's not for kids and stuff like that. Who said it was made for kids? If you make something, whether it's an anime, whether it's an animation, whether it's a live action, and you criticize it and say, well, it's made for, we want our children to watch it on that, but not everything has to be made for kids. See, that's why Japanese mangas and anime does very well, because they know, they split themselves up. They know what they can make for kids, they know what they can make for adults, and they know what they can make for adult-oriented that is just a little bit above the R rating. Hentai, for example. But there are reasons why hentai came around too on certain things. And it's because there are certain things in the adult industry they can't show. So things like tentacle films were created for that reason. As much as you may dislike that. So we need to get rid of the cow art. I'm sorry, we have to. We have to stop the cow art. You may criticize me in the comments for that. No, we need, you're just, no, we've had too much cow art. And it is a stupid, lazy way of creating a program. You say, oh, but you're stifling on that. You want to make cow art? Fine. I'm not going to stop you from cow art, but the industry needs to freaking stop using it and pull back, because they're basically all variations of animation out there that can be made, and made within a good budget. Do you understand? A good budget. You're just cheapening yourself. You're creating these cheap Adult Swim types, which basically Cartoon Network is failing. Adult Swim is failing. Toonami is failing. Do you know what's catching up now? The classics. Channels like MeTV, Heroes and Icons, a lot of other channels with older programming have been increasing 1 to 10% every year, depending on the channel and the programming. Saturday morning cartoons are back on MeTV. The Jetsons are just now starting up on Sunday mornings next to the Flintstones. The first season, not the 80s, the original stuff. The original first season of the Jetsons. So let's just get rid of this. If this is true, get rid of this Cal art. We don't want it. Don't cheapen your programming. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. And if I've earned your subscription, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, comment, share this video, hit the notification bell. You'll know when we put out programming. We try to put out programming on a consistent basis during the week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being there. And like I said, get rid of the Cal art and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.